Welcome, Father Brian.
Becca.
Coming back to you, especially for the teachers here. Just kind of wanted to run through a recap of what I'm envisioning these small groups to be. What it is to enter into meditation practically. What does that look like for the kids? I know we had just watched or had you guys watch as a class those different videos to try to help capture that, but I just felt a need to help a little bit more and a little bit more guidance. So in the book that I gave you, or that we're reading this year, actually page 141 in the back, the appendix is the original meditations, and that's honestly what I want us to go through and experience. And so the first is preparation, and we'll talk about that, placing yourselves in the presence of God and beseeching Him to inspire you. And then St. Francis de Sales has considerations, and that's what I call setting up the meditation. So what am I to consider while I'm in this spot, with the Lord being inspiring me to do this prayer time together? And so you just say those questions out loud. You might repeat them, every 2 minutes or every 3 minutes, kind of until people get into them a little bit, and start asking that question. You could break it up into, it's a 20 minutes of prayer time if you wanted to, so you just do the first 3 within the first 5 minutes is kind of what I would say. And then towards the end, so then you just kind of sit in that meditation for a little bit. And then the last 5 minutes or so, start reading through, as a facilitator, or if you want to have the kids be able to enter into it, the affections and resolutions, and kind of do those one at a time, and see where the heart moves us to, and those are affections and resolutions. So how are we going to end this time, or how do we want to grow during this time? And then a conclusion. Those conclusions can be done at the end of the meditation, or they could actually be done even at the end of the meeting after all the kids, or some of the kids, have shared what the meditation was like for them. So anyways, so Becca and I are gonna kind of go through this, walk through this, and I'll just add in some commentary as we go about. So placing yourselves in the presence of God. This is a supposed to be a relaxed thing. So kids, who knows, maybe they'll fall asleep. But it's really getting inside of yourself, to a point of being able to feel your heart rate or your heartbeat, your breathing. And so typically what we say is get comfortable, and open your body to a way that helps you to pray. So something that pretty much a lot of, especially when we're first starting meditations, is you put your feet flat on the ground, and then you close your eyes and just take in 3 to 5 deep breaths. Close your eyes and just sit in the stillness, and focus on your breathing. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And that stillness of mind, that stillness of body, see if you can start feeling your heartbeat. You can come into contact with your heart. And that that place of resting, Lord, we ask you to be with us during this time of prayer. Lord, we ask you to inspire us in this meditation. Consider that a certain number of years ago, you were not yet in the world, and that your present being was truly nothing. My soul, where were you at that time? The world had already existed for a long time. But for us, there was as nothing, as yet nothing. So something that you can maybe help the kids to get to is a place of what does nothing look like, or imagine nothing. You know, this is a meditation, so wherever your imagination, whatever words kind of come out and stick out to you, to the kids, let them go with that thought, right? Okay, so there is nothing. How do I take that thought with the Lord's inspiration to this place of nothingness? This world was, and how do I go beyond that in my own imagination of my own person, of how I was created. God has drawn you out of that nothingness to make you what you are now. And he has done so solely out of his own goodness and without any need of you. Consider the nature God has given to you. It is the highest in this visible world. It is capable of eternal life and of being perfectly united to his divine majesty. So again, with the first time meditation, there's probably going to be a whole lot of distractions that are going to come into this time of prayer and space, and that's okay. That's totally normal. That's totally fine. You're not doing it wrong by doing that. We're just trying to teach what it is to come into this stillness and into this silence. And so when distractions come up, and if that becomes a thing, we can talk about that at the large group and how to do that. But please make note of that as teachers. When we start sharing that type of stuff, we can talk about those different tactics to overcome those. But because I'm assuming this is going to be hard, especially first time getting into it, to just remind the kids during this meditation, so just like in your own words almost, say something like, now imagine something as nothing, right? So that's the first meditation. That I didn't exist, and now I do exist. And what does that mean for my soul's existence? Being united divinely. Do I want to be united with God? And how does that work? So, which is what we're teaching. So then you would do that for a few minutes, just being there in that stillness. And then resolutions still within this time of meditation, I would say, with, like I said, the last 5 minutes or so. Humble yourself profoundly before God. And like the psalmist says, with all your heart, Lord, before you are, I am truly nothing. How you are mindful of me so as to create me. At last, my soul, you were engulfed in that ancient nothingness, and that you still be there if God had not drawn you out of it. What could you have done in that nothingness? St. Francis is asking us to think about what, if we were nothing, what could we have possibly have done? Return thanks to God, my great and good Creator. How great is my debt to you, since you were moved to draw me out of nothing, and by your mercy to make me what I am. What can I ever do to bless your holy name in a worthy manner and to render thanks for your immense mercy? Rebuke yourself. At last, my Creator, instead of uniting myself to you in love and service, I have become a total rebel by my disorderly affections, separated myself from you, strayed far from you in order to embrace sin, and show no more honor to your goodness than if you were not my Creator. Abase yourself before God. My soul, know that the Lord is your God. He has made you, and you have not made yourself. O God, I am the work of your hands. From now on, then, I will no longer be self-complacent, since of myself I am nothing. O dust and ash, or rather you who were truly nothing, why do you glory in yourself? To humble yourself, I resolutely resolve to do such and such a thing, and to suffer such and such humiliations. I desire to change my life, and henceforth to follow my Creator, and to find honor in the state of being He has given me, imploring it entirely in obedience to His will, by such means as will be taught me, and about which I will ask my spiritual director. With that, I would invite the kids, being in meditation, being in that still state, to to maybe do these conclusions if you feel so moved, to give thanks to God and bless your God, O my soul, and let all my being praise his holy name. For his goodness has drawn me out of nothing, and his mercy he has created me. So to thank the Lord for the time within this meditation. And then to make an offering. Oh my God, with all my heart I offer you the being you have given me, and I dedicate and consecrate it to you. And a prayer. O God, strengthen me in these affections and resolutions. O Holy Virgin, recommend them to the mercy of your Son, together with all those for whom I am bound to pray, and so on. And to end this time of meditation, I invite us all to join in the Our Father. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. And if we're still in a state of stillness, to pay back attention to our heartbeat, to our breathing, and then eventually to open our eyes, and then we can start sharing the graces. That's kind of how I envision the time going together. And if, for the first few, trying to share the gifts or what's going on, so Becca and I will do that here. But also if you want to, as a facilitator, look at what Father John has written here too, just to kind of have a understanding of sorts of what different things have happened through this meditation, what his commentary is. We can read that. If you as a facilitator think one of those sections is extremely fruitful, pass that back to us here at the office, but also you guys can read it together. But really want to take the time to say, what was this prayer together, and how can we share the grace of being there. So Becca and I guess we'll do that first. I'm gonna grab some coffee. So, what was that like, Becca?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I don't often do those sorts of meditations on my own, so I love being guided through them, so thanks for that. I was reflecting on just like the beauty of the intentionality of us being here right now. And so like the Lord, when he didn't set the world spinning and then just leave it on its own, like the fact that I am sitting here with you right now is very intentional. And the Lord, I've been reflecting in the past few weeks actually on the reality and the beauty that the Lord has picked us for this particular time for a particular reason. Like the world has been going for thousands and millions of years, and it's no coincidence, no accident that we're here right now, and we're here for a reason. And so he's using that for something. So I was reflecting on that, but also just like the intimacy that we have with the Lord, because he's not some distant person, and he dwells within our hearts. And so I was thinking about the reality that like we are walking tabernacles, like God is within us, and just like how beautiful that is, and there's so much depth there to dig into. So I would love more time to just reflect on that.
Sit there.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, when I was thinking about, I always loved, ever since I joined seminary, I've always loved the idea of nothing. Because I love the beginning of John's Gospel. That's one of my favorite opening lines opening chapters of the Gospels. It has nothing to do with this cute nativity. It has everything to do with this philosophical point that the world was created through the Word, and the Word became flesh, and the world did not know and that John came to testify to the light, even though the world did not know the light, and like all these different things. And it's very much like out of nothing, everything came, and the light was the human race, and like how the Lord desires to dwell. So like nothingness is always like, I remember it really hurt my brain the first time I tried to think of nothing, and I've done it multiple times, but sitting in nothingness, trying to imagine what that is, and then I exist, right? I love that. And then it so dampers any sense of pride, like, yeah, the entire world was going and is still going if I'm here or not, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I love that. What was that resolution that resolution was hilarious, I thought. Abase yourself. What did it say? Consideration. Yeah, rebuke yourself. At last, my Creator, instead of uniting myself to you in love and service, I have become a total rebel by my disorderly affection, separating myself from you and strayed far from you in order to embrace sin and to show no more honor to your goodness than if you were not my Creator. Just like this inability that we have as broken human beings to be with the Lord. But then the consideration on top of that, consider the nature of God has given you. It is the highest of the visible order. Human beings have the ability of love, the ability of imagination, and the ability of intellect. And it is capable of eternal life and of being perfectly united to His divine majesty. So just like, yeah, that movement of the heart was like humility. Okay, I don't have anything control over what goes on. It's been going on forever. I'm here now. Intentionality, as you were saying. And then that intentionality is meant to be eternal with God, who is was intentional when He creates me at each and every moment. Yeah, I just thought that was, it really put the damper on your pride. Like, oh, never mind, you're right, I'm nothing. Ash and dust, or rather, you who are truly nothing. Why do you glory in yourself? I just love that. It's just such a good place to be. So, yeah. Something that the book does say, like right after the sharing graces. So that was what I kind of imagined that to be, is a sharing of grace, a sharing of what everyone was, imaginations, images that came to mind, what it means for them individually, what does that mean to respond in their life to God, all those different things. So it'll take time to learn the dynamics of the heart, but I don't think we have to worry about that. Sometimes we get too preoccupied with that. The human heart is designed to communicate with its Creator. That's what it's designed to do. And so this year is just giving us the space to intentionally actually do that and learn that. And so it'll come. It just takes time. It took time for me. I'm sure it took time for Becca. Mm-hmm. So, and the idea is once when we get to that stillness and peace of that meditation, the next time it'll be a little bit quicker to get there, and the next time it'll take a little bit quicker to get there. And nothing is going to be wasted in this intentional time with the Lord. So after contemplating your prayer, go back over it for a moment, and out of the considerations you have made, gather a little devotional bouquet to refresh you during the rest of the day. So what does that look like? Rest of the day, rest of the week. to have them journal with the journals we gave them, whatever was shared from their own point, which, you know, the first time it might be good to have them journal it before they share, just so that the introverts can take time to think before they start sharing. The extroverts will obviously share and then figure out what they're trying to say. That's me. We had a classmate, Adam. Anyways, it was so great. But to be able to write it down, date it, put the date on the top of the journal, and then just let them, you know, write, like, what happened. And then if they want to share, if they even want to write down, if they're comfortable, like, writing down other graces that were shared in the group, like things to think about, and to dive deeper with the Lord on their own time, or years from now be able to go and look back at and share that grace. So that little devotional bouquet to refresh you during the rest of the week, the rest of the day. So that's what I imagine it to be. So it's a huge book, but honestly I just wanted the back half of it. But yeah, Father John does have prayers at the very end of the end of the chapter. So if you wanted to use those prayers at the very end of the session together, that would be, good to do. Yeah. I think Becca and I are going to do all 10 of these here like this, just to be able to walk with you and journey with you during this time as teachers. And if the students want to watch these too, it's fine. We'll have them up somewhere. All right. Anything else?
No.
Any other announcements?
No.
This could be a fun way to do announcements.
It could be. I'll have to be
Do like
prepared
we
next time.
wait,
He
yeah,
warned me.
no, I just, yeah. It could be really fun. All right. Awesome. Well, best of prayers for the journey of the year. Diving into the heart, the retreat with St. Francis de Sales. All right. Peace out. Later.